Shanghai. And he told me about it, so we went over to film it. And I was gone 2 weeks, so when I came back, my key didn't work in my house. Somebody had tried to break in. So I told my friend who owns a limo company and drives me around, he's a Moroccan, big guy. I said, just break the door down. And he went boom, and the door popped open. And a little white lady was walking by and looked up and called the cops and said, 2 black guys are breaking into the house. The only problem was it was my house. So I called I was renting it from Harvard, and I called Harvard and I said, you gotta fix the lock because it's completely broken. You know, somebody had tried to break in and my friend just, knocked the whole door, down basically. And when I hung up, the doorbell rang. It was like a high school play. And I thought, wow, that's strange. And I went to the door and there was a policeman. And he said, step out on the porch. And I knew from his tone that this was not a friendly gesture. And I instinctively refused. And I said, no. I said, this is my house. And he said, prove it. And I said, sure, I can prove it. And I left my ID on the island in the kitchen. And I walked back to the kitchen, and he would follow me, and I could feel his breath on my neck. And I handed him my Harvard ID and my driver's license, and he just stood there, and he kept calling for reinforcements. And he didn't believe that I lived there, I think. Later, he told me that he was, this wasn't his usual beat. And he had just been walking by and got the call, so he thought he would investigate. And he was convinced that I had a partner who was upstairs and was going to come down and blow him away. The other thing is when I forgot to mention this earlier, when I got back from China, my suitcases were in the foyer of the house, and they were all open. And he told me that is what thieves do. That thieves take empty suitcases to people's homes, steal stuff, put them in the suitcases like they're leaving. So I was black. That was what the report was. There were these suitcases. So he just put 2 and 2 together. And he told me he was terrified that my partner was going to come down and blow me away. So finally, he agreed to leave, and he believed that it was my house. But when I stepped out on the porch, it was full of policemen because he had called for reinforcements. The whole street had been blocked off. And I was outraged, and I stepped out on the porch, and I said, what the hell? I was starting to, what the hell are you guys doing? And they said, you're under arrest. And that was it. I was under arrest.
Well, that's the first half of the story, then led to the beer summit in the Rose Garden.